Welcome in to the Bobby Carpenter Show, and here we go on this Tuesday. I'm back in Columbus. Steele looks like he's somewhere. He's got some drawn graphics on pieces of paper. Did we print those off? Did we scribe those ourselves, Steele? I just noticed those a minute ago.
Nope, hand drawn, man, all natural.
So where are you located then right now?
Currently in Vero Beach, Florida, with my girlfriend.
Okay, so we'll be spending like next couple of days there before we're heading back to Atlanta.
Staying here till Valentine's Day, then heading back to Georgia.
Okay, then heading back to Georgia. I always say that you're from Atlanta. Where exactly are you from in Georgia, Steele?
I'm from Georgia. Being from Atlanta, from Georgia, two different things. I'm from Georgia. I'm 30 minutes north of the city.
Okay, so that's so like how far are you from Buckhead?
30 minutes.
Okay, so you're 30 minutes because that's on the northern side, correct?
Yeah.
All right, so that's like my knowledge base with that and understanding kind of where things are. I'm not like super. I've been to Atlanta a couple times and like the Georgia region, going from Atlanta, driving out to Athens and seeing people over in Marietta. Is that how far? Where's Marietta at? Steele?
Marietta is a little more south.
South, yeah. Gosh, I'm trying to think of the county that Caleb Downs is from. That's where Ben Hartsock, who is a teammate of mine, lives out there. Just one county east, maybe, like of Atlanta.
I think he's from Gwinnett County.
Gwinnett. Yes, that is right. Gwinnett County. That's where my man Hartsock lives. So I went out there. We stopped at his house. So a little feel for everything. And there's a lot of stuff that I wanted to get to just with everything that we've got going on, Steele. And, you're not quite in this space yet of being like a dad and a parent. I mean, you've hopefully, when that time comes, it'll be a good deal for you. But, there's just a couple of things like in larger sports landscapes that I enjoy kind of getting into and talking about the different themes of them and everything that's ultimately going on. And I guess one of the things I looked at, and this started last week, was the conversation, especially with Sam Darnold making the Super Bowl and then him ultimately winning the Super Bowl, and what that looks like and kind of how that all has gone for him. Is the fact that he was in Minnesota last year. Obviously, he left. They chose to stay with J.J. McCarthy. They had drafted him, so you kind of get that. Like, you're always going to roll with your drafted dude. McCarthy not looking quite as good this year. And then Sam Darnold looking, playing at some points, like at a Pro Bowl caliber level. Mm-hmm. And what's interesting and amazing to kind of see about that, Steele, is, then their GM, and I'm going to butcher his name again. Unless you want to be able to pronounce it for me. If you can say it.
All you, man.
Yeah, I can't think of their GM's name. I can think of it. I can't pronounce it. Unless you want to be able to pronounce it. And it's and it came out during the time he gets fired. And then I don't know who leaked it, who released it, that he had taken some time, Steele, for like 2 weeks off for paternity leave. And it got into this big debate, and then Mike McDonald, Seattle's coach, said he sees his kid, like 30 minutes a week during the season. He's got a newborn. I'm like, I get that, I get that. You've been around the game. You know how long those coaches work. You know how long they grind. And there's a fine balance, to being a dad, to be a parent, and then also making sure that you're getting your job done and getting your work done. And I think some coaches, some people in football exaggerate and maybe go over the top a little bit about what it takes and how much you need to work and how that ultimately looks. And so, like, am I advocating that Mike McDonald, him spending 30 minutes with his kid a week, like during the season? That's not great. Now, he does have time in the off season where, he gets home at more normal hours. You get, 3-4 weeks off in the summer so you can go relax and be a part of them. And so that's good. I remember talking to Ryan Day about this because I thought Ryan Day did a good job with it. Like, he's a present father, but he's like, dude, it's not 50-50. He goes, it's 100-100. He goes, because the percentages aren't the same. He's like, I don't get to spend nearly as much time with my family as I would like, but when I'm there, I'm all the way there. Mm-hmm. I'm doing things. I power down, my phone on me, but I'm not living in that. I'm going to be present with my kids. And, the Bediako, or not Bediako, that's the Alabama thing, the situation in Minnesota where you take 2 weeks off for paternity leave. And people are like, well, there's companies that have, 4 weeks, 6 weeks. And you see this deal if you ever get into corporate America. Some got these great plans. I mean, that's fine. I go, man, I had my oldest son on a Tuesday. We induced him. It was December. He's born December 1st. We're in the midst of a playoff run. I'm trying to make sure I'm playing as well as I can so that I can provide for my family. I can keep a job. And you make sacrifices. And when you have big jobs that are, really quote important, or at least you're getting paid really well for them, there's going to be some sacrifices with that. And people back and they got really mad at me on social media. And it's like, well, that's part of the problem. Like, dude, I was there for my child's birth. And then I would help change diapers. And, there's a lot more. Everyone tell me there's a lot more that goes into it. I'm like, yeah, there is. I know there is. Okay. And then so what I would do is when I would get home from practice, I would help do what I need to do. I'll take care of our son. We'd eat dinner together. My wife would go to bed at 8 o'clock. I would stay up for like 3 hours to like get one last feeding in, hold him, hang out, put him to bed at 11. And so then he'd sleep, 3, 4 more hours. So my wife could be sleeping from like 8 to 2 or 8 to 3. There'd be times where I'd wake up and help out and do some things. My mother-in-law was in town for it as well. Like you just grind through it and you're tired and you watch guys dragging into practice looking rough because they're up at night and they're drinking coffee. Like that's all part of it. They don't take 2 weeks off though. They don't take any time off. Maybe you take off for the birth and you get back and you go do your business and you be a part of it. But I said, my dad, it was the same thing. He came in for my birth when he was playing. He was in a different city. He'd gotten traded, came in, boom, was there. Okay. I don't remember him not being there. My grandma was there to help with my mom and help me. But he had a job to do. And so I want those memories as a parent. But I would say, I always tell people it's much more impactful to be around for other things and other events, especially for the first month. Like you can be there and you can help and you can assist, but it's vastly different from kind of what it kind of always was, or what kind of the perception of things has been. So I just wanted to get on my soapbox for a minute, Steele. Get your thoughts on this. I know you're not to fatherhood quite yet, but you have parents, and they love you. And just, I go to all my kids' stuff. I try to be there as many things as possible. As my job as a part in our family is to help provide for our kids and to do the things that I need to do as well to make sure that those things are happening. So yes, there's sacrifices that have to be made, but I think it's always important to be present. But being present always looks different to different people.
Yeah. Again, I have no footing to stand on here. I do not.
Okay, just give your opinion. Be reckless with it.
Yeah, of course. There's two trains of thought here. Of course, there's a side where you want to be present. You want to be there for the birth. You want to see them grow up and just really develop as like a young baby, because there's only so many chances you're going to get of that. You want to be present. And then there's a second school of thought where I want to just work my butt off and do everything I can to give this kid the life that it deserves, or he or she deserves. And that's going to come with sacrifices, whether that's spending a little less time there, just focusing on your craft. For you, in this case, it was football, or just like spending more time outside the house and providing that money and that stability that the kid's going to need. So there's two ways of thinking of it. I personally, of course, like you'd have to discuss it with your partner, but I lean more towards the sacrifice in order to give them the life that they deserve. Because yes, like you're gonna hate it that you're missing a little bit of time, but down the road, whenever they're 4 years old, you're putting them through a private school. They get all the clothes they want. They have the life that they want. Like that's whenever you're gonna look back and say, okay, I'm glad I did what I did, because now they have the life that maybe you didn't have as a kid. So I love the way you look at it, because sacrifice is like you need to sacrifice in order to give them the life that they want.
And that's kind of where it is. And you know what? You don't want to sacrifice everything at expense that you're not there, but trying to balance that, man. And it's really hard as a man. It's hard when you're in an industry still that's highly visible. And especially like you said, you're working hard to provide them. And bam, like when you have that, there's going to be more expectations with that. The bigger the job, the greater the expectations, and all of those things that go with it. So it's not fair, but you know what else? Life isn't fair. And that's kind of what it is. I've come to that conclusion at this point now that, there's things you have to sacrifice because, people are banging on me. They're banging on my dad, this and that. I'm like, listen, man, my dad, we had a great relationship. He coached all my stuff growing up. He was at a lot of things. He was playing in the NFL at the time. That was great. I was super blessed to be able to have that. And I think hopefully my kids kind of felt the same. But with it, like there comes just expectations. So I know that everybody's different. And like you said, you discuss it, you talk about it as a unit, as a family unit and what that ultimately looks like. But everybody's got different dynamics. And, I brought that up because, I just got back today and I was talking with some of the guys. I'm there with some of these, down in Curacao at the installation down there, right off the coast of Venezuela, down in Andros Island at Autech, where they do all this like naval testing and like weapons testing down there with helos and subs and everything else. I mean, those guys, they want to be around their kids, and they're deployed in their station, and they don't make near as much as guys in the NFL. They're dramatically undercompensated. And so when I see that, and people sit there and it's like, oh, this dad's terrible. I'm like, well, how about the dad who's serving overseas, who's doing that and providing his family the best they can, providing us safety while they're doing it. And we're sitting there and I'm watching my son swim at his, district or at his league swim meet. Meanwhile, we're watching the guy's daughters in this dance competition. And one of the other guys, like, he's got a daughter volleyball tournament. And, thankfully they can stream a lot of this now. But he's like, man, this is it. I'm like, I go, no one's going to sit there and tell this guy he's not a good dad for not being home and not being where he wants to be. Like, that's just kind of how it happens sometimes. And so as I see that, I feel like we've kind of lost perspective in society of like, hey, man, there's people that have really important jobs, especially jobs that are important they don't get compensated all that much for. And then poof, like they've got to be there and they've got to do this. And it gives me a little bit of like the Colonel Jessup out of A Few Good Men, like, don't question the manner of freedom in which or don't live under the blanket of freedom of which I provide, then question the manner in which I provide it. Just say thank you and be on your way. And that's kind of like, that's what these guys do, each and every day. And they come from all over the country and do all different jobs. And like, they're just grateful that I was down there. But man, Steele, it is like the coolest thing in the world to go down there and just talk ball. And they want to know stories about this guy, about that guy, and everything else. And I'm thinking, man, like, you guys are away from your family. You're serving here. I'm going to be there for a week. And you're super grateful that I'm coming down, but I'm just super grateful that you do what you do that allowed me to play football, to us to have the jobs that we do, and to be just in a country that provides unbelievable freedoms. While not perfect by any stretch, still, I believe the best that there ultimately is. So,
big time.
Yeah, sorry about that. That was the soapbox open today because it was just kind of, as I was sitting there, just kind of eating at me a little bit yesterday, Steve. I'm sitting in the airport.
Get it off your chest, man. I'm here for it.
Well, everybody wants to be a critic. Like, oh, you would miss the birth of your child for the Super Bowl. I'm like, dude, if I brought back a Super Bowl ring and I told my son, like, hey, I wasn't there, I showed up an hour late, but I love you, and we got the Super Bowl ring now, and I missed your birth, which is tough. I'm not saying it's not important. I'm not saying you should do that, but like, I would rather be present through the overwhelming majority of your life than maybe miss something here or there that career-wise would change, like you said, change the path of your life and what you're able to do. And I think, to quote Steel Chambers, going to private school and wearing the nice clothes, I think was the phrase that you threw out there with all of that. So, yeah. But we've got some big news in college sports. And thankfully, it seems like there has been some sanity that's maybe been restored to the college basketball world. And hopefully that transitions over into football and they can start getting some things structured and situated so we can actually have some guidelines, some framework of what ultimately is going on. Want to make sure that ultimately happens. But there was a step. We took a step, Steele. And so we're going to talk about the Bediako situation down in Alabama, a judge's ruling coming into play, them getting something done, and trying to figure out exactly where we should go from here. But first, how fast the NFL game days move. One big play, everything changes. That's why live betting on FanDuel, it's a game changer. With FanDuel, you can bet in real time as the game unfolds. Score just flipped, jump on the new spread or ride the live money line. That receiver's heating up, bet the next touchdown score or total yards. Think that drive stalls in the red zone. You take a live field goal prop or fade the total. Live player props, team totals, drive results, updated spreads, next play markets. It's all here. And so it's fast and fun. And with FanDuel, your live bets, they move as quickly as the game does. So whether you ride the momentum, fade the hype, FanDuel, they put you right in the middle of every moment. What a great Super Bowl. Maybe not people like great, but it was fun to bet. Should have bet the first half under. Told everyone that. Visit FanDuel.com/bigplay to download the app and bet the NFL live all season long. Must be 21 or older in present Ohio. 21 older in present Pennsylvania. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rg-help.com. More of the Bobby Carpenter Show and college sports returning to sanity coming up next. I'm Garage Beer, and this is Bobby Carpenter.
Garage Beer. Beer flavored beer.
Beef with an F? Okay, my bad. It's crisp and cool, and it doesn't taste like I'm Bobby Carpenter. I drink in garages because my wife says I don't belong inside. If you like a cold breeze on your bag, drink Garage Beer. It's American, and so can you. Garage Beer. Beer flavored beer. Welcome back into the Bobby Carpenter Show, and it was good to see something that has finally happened. And Alabama had been playing with a dude who had been in the G League still, who had played in the NBA, who had drafted. It didn't really work out, and they said, you know what, Charles Bediako, come on back down here. We need a big dude that can be a defensive center for us. Come on and play for us, and we'll get this done. He was playing in games. And it was great. I'm trying to think who they were playing this weekend, but the students still were chanting G League dropout, which was amazing. Give him a lot of credit for that. But they said he can't play moving forward. Now, I don't know if the NCAA is going to go back and like claw out his eligibility and say you should forfeit all of those games that he was playing in, which maybe that happens. But I think this is a step in the right direction, at least for the courts. Or it's just like the first win that the NCAA has had still since like you were probably like 5 years old. They've just been getting their butt whooped in court, and now they finally get this win, so they should feel good about it.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I have no memory of the NCAA doing anything for the betterment of anyone, but this is, like you said, like a step in the right direction. A common win. This is a win for sanity and just common sense in general. Because how do you have a guy who goes to play professional ball, it doesn't work out for him, and he just says, okay, screw it, I'm going to go back to college? That seems like something out of a Disney movie. I don't understand how you let that happen in the first place, but I'm glad they kind of backtracked and got this kind of done and said, okay, screw this. We're not going to let this happen, because this is ridiculous.
It is. And because I was joking, if they didn't rule on this deal, I'm like, what's to stop guys who are like practice squad dudes who left college early and they, well, yeah, I still have a year or two left. Like, why would they come back? And thankfully that we never got to that point. But I mean, that's kind of where we were. Like it was getting to be a situation where we were just making things up on the fly. And so the judge's decision, I guess, creates different categories of players attempting to join the NCAA. The G League players who are cleared to play college basketball this season had not previously played college basketball. Another player that hadn't either. Judge's ruling could be challenged in a higher court, but establishes any player who plays in the NBA after playing college basketball, which is key. Problem is that basketball still has like that setup that's European. Like the European sports model is far different than America's. But if you choose to go to college and then leave, to me, it's like, okay,
you're done.
I did something. I can't go back. Now, if you're playing pro in Europe and you're like 19, you're like, okay, I want to go to college. Okay, I'm not sure. I gotta do some more research on this. But this was something that was huge. And Charlie Baker, the president, was talking about how we're restoring sanity to college sports. It's a great deal. It's NCAA president Charlie Baker. Common sense won around today. The court saw this for what it is, an attempt by professionals to pivot back to college and crowd out the next generation of students. We can quit calling them students, just the next generation of players. All right, college sports, they do go to school, but that's not their primary mission. College sports are for students, not for people who already walked away to go pro and now want to hit the undo button at the expense of a teenager's dream. Well, we're glad the court upheld the rules our members actually want. The win doesn't fix the national and state issues and laws. It's time for Congress. He goes back to Congress. Time for Congress to stop watching from the sidelines and help us provide some actual stability. I don't know that that's ever going to happen, but I think that is a big win as we're looking forward with this deal to now that hopefully we'll be able to start like chipping away at this. And I'm for player mobility and guys getting cash.
Mhm.
There needs to be some common sense legislation around some of the things. Is there anything that you're seeing, like rules that you think could maybe be implicated or instituted rather, that would make a difference? Like that you think is simple stuff like, hey, pro player, but like this is some like restrictions and guidelines that might be best for the guys, as well as giving them some opportunities to do some different things.
I think as far as football, I would do something with the transfer portal, maybe be a 1 or 2 time like free pass. You can transfer. You don't have to sit out a year. Like, boom, you're right into the facility. You're doing everything. Once you start getting into 3 or 4 transfers, I think that's where there needs to be some kind of penalty or punishment, whether that's you got to sit out a year, you got to sit out half the season. There's got to be something where you're not getting guys just bouncing from 7 different programs through 7 different years. That's bad. And I think like this ruling right here, of course, I love it. I feel like once you pull the pin on that bad boy, you say, okay, college, I'm out. I'm moving on. That's it. You can't put the pin back in. Like it's over. So I'm glad they went back on this. I hope that kind of trickles into college football and the transfer portal realm, because I think a lot of changes are needed right there in order to get things back on track.
It is. And so I'm with you. I think the one-time transfer, I think, is a good deal. And I guess like if your coach leaves, they're obviously still, we love to carve out exceptions, put your exceptions in there, just fill up the exception box. Coach leaves or, whatever. I don't know. We can figure out some other things that they potentially want to be a part of. I'm for one time. Obviously you didn't have tremendous success early on in Ohio State. You had a position shift and everything else. I'm a believer that if you have guys stay, I think you should have to stay somewhere for 2 seasons, because your first year is always going to be hard. Your second year, you can kind of figure it out and see what the landscape's going to be. Do you think that would be something that would be beneficial and that you would have benefited from? Could you have been able to leave?
Ooh, that's actually kind of interesting. I think that people should stick it out for at least 2 years. There's always different circumstances that come with every different player where they might have to leave a little early. But for a majority of college football players, I think the 2-year rule, staying for 2 years, would be beneficial. Because you look at a guy like Arvell Reese. Freshman year, he was on special teams a little bit. He got banged up with a concussion. His second year, he starts playing a little more, seeing the field, getting a hang of things. And in the third year, that's just whenever he exploded. Now, he could have gone to the transfer portal, say, okay, like I play a little bit on the field. I got my name out there. I'm going to go chase some money. Or he could do what he did, stay at Ohio State, develop as a football player and just a human being in general. And now he's probably going to be the second overall pick. So there's definitely benefits to like sticking it out at a certain place. But there's always going to be certain anomalies where a guy might have to leave after a year. But I think like a year to 2 years, that would be a solid starting point for that's how long you have to stay at your first college.
Yeah. I mean, because it's like when you get there still, how overwhelming is that first week when you get to like Ohio State or any type of big state school?
It's a lot because, of course, you got the football aspect of it. And then, of course, you're just going to college. Like that's just a whole different world. You're away from your support system. And then on top of all that like a normal college student has to go through, now you're getting beat up by dudes twice your size who understand football a lot more than you. It's just kind of just diving into a whole different world, and it's really stressful, but it makes you a better player. It's kind of baptism by fire in a sense, where either you stick it out and you become a better dude, or it kind of just kills you.
And so that's the front end of it. And that's the truth. Like I remember my first week, I was like, I told my dad, I'm like, I maybe I made a mistake. Like, I don't know if I can do this. These dudes are really big, like really fast. Coaches are they're a lot meaner than they were in recruiting. They seem like such nice guys. On the back end, I know that we want to live in a world where like I would say it's a consequence-free world. Did you ever watch The Office, Steele? You an Office guy?
I know everything about The Office.
Okay. There's a situation in the show, paint you a scenario. It's the golden ticket with the Willy Wonka. And Michael puts golden tickets in the paper, Michael Scott, in the paper boxes. Whoever found them, they got free paper. And then they're like, well, Michael, it's going to cost us a fortune. His boss, Dave Wallace, comes in. He's like, actually, it costs a fortune. So he blames it on Dwight. Dwight's like, no, don't put this on me. And then Dave Wallace is like, actually, our customers love this. They want to order even more. Like, things are great. And then Michael's mad because he didn't get the credit for it. And so he finally, David Wallace figures it out, and they go, "What do you want, Michael?" He goes, "I want all of the credit and none of the blame." It's like, and I always lean into that now, because that was the office predicting like where we were going to be at in society, where people just want, like, I want all the opportunities, Steele. Like, I want to be able to go and play professionally when I want to. But then if it doesn't work out, I also want to come back to college. Like, I don't want to have to own my decision. Like, I want all the upside, none of the downside, all the credit and none of the blame. And I can't believe that there was a world where, like, hey, if you want to leave, you should be able to go. In the NFL, they have the rule for 3 years. I don't know. Maybe they could cut it back to 2. There's a couple guys that probably could have came out after a year if they wanted. But I think it's probably ultimately good for the player growth, and I think the NFL likes it, so whatever. But the consequences still of having to go, and then it doesn't work out, so you want to come back. It seems like that's part of the maturation process of life. And from your first year at Ohio State to your final year, like, yeah, like hopefully we learned something along the way about what those consequences were going to be.
Oh, absolutely. Because I hope you know that my heart's really happy that you were able to quote The Office on me. Like that just made my day right there. But yeah, I mean, there's going to be consequences no matter what you do in life. And you can either do two things. You can run away from it, or you can kind of accept it and then learn from it. And I think in this day of age, people need to kind of lean more towards the latter and just accept those consequences that come with your actions. And that's going to lead to you being a better person and not just kind of running and trying to escape everything. Because if you do that, then you're never just going to own up to your mistakes like down the line.
Absolutely. All right, we're long for a break, so we're going to take one of those. We'll be back with more great stuff here. Parents and athletes, protect what matters most with Export mouth guards, trusted by professional athletes, designed by NHL team dentists. Export mouth guards, they're scientifically tested to help absorb those high-impact hits, protecting both your teeth and your brain. They've got 3 layers of advanced protection, including a patented use of carbon fiber that they custom print that bad boy right to your grill for more protection, better performance, max comfort, and clear communication, so you can focus on your game, not your gear. Don't take chances with your safety. Visit exportguards.com/Bobby today and save 15% on your order. Export, protect what matters most. We've got some other juicy stuff here. I'm trying to figure out where to go with this. Stay tuned, and we'll let you know coming up.
Every winning play starts somewhere. For you, it could be with us. At Smart Choice Bass, we bring the showroom to you with no pressure and no long sale pitches. Just real options that fit your home and budget. This is your opportunity to have the bathroom of your dreams. Right now, you can get $12.50 off your bathroom remodel with a free luxury upgrade and peace of mind with a 24-month money-back guarantee. Call 844-GET-SMART or visit smartchoicebass.com today.
Welcome back into the program here. And Steele, you played baseball and football primarily, correct?
Basketball up until freshman year, then a little bit of track early on.
Track early on. Why didn't you stay with basketball? It's too short.
God, I realized, like, I was on the varsity team for baseball and football. I wasn't able to make it on the basketball team, so I just said, screw it. I'm just going to stick with my favorite 2.
And that's, you know what? And that's a lot of times, because, you know, especially if you're really good in one sport, possibly 2, it's really hard to be really good at 3. And like, you're like, man, I'm out here playing varsity, and it's like, all right, we're going to put you on a freshman team or a JV team. You're like, is this really worth it? And so that kind of stinks sometimes. But I think it's important to play multiple sports. I make sure my kids do that, like cross training. We see all these crazy injuries and everything else. It's like, listen, get out there, go do different stuff, man. Get on different surfaces, run, jump. And also, like, I feel like that helps keep your love for the different games, like, because you're always kind of transitioning, like, in and out. So you get excited for the next sports season. But this came out with this because they started talking about Super Bowl. And so, Pat, if we can throw that up. Josh Heenan tweeted it out, Dr. Josh. He said, on average, 90% of athletes playing in the Super Bowl were multi-sport athletes in high school. Not only have the 90% gained neurological and injury reduction benefits from playing multiple sports, but most have also been strength training year round since 9th grade. And I know Schlegs would just like lean into this all over the place. We're like, hey, let's play multiple sports, then let's lift weights year round, and do that. So you were a multi-sport guy. I was a multi-sport guy, like everybody. Make sure my kids are like, you can get your skills in, you can grind. When did you start in with the weight training?
I believe it was probably like 6th or 7th grade where my dad said, okay, like you're starting like to grow a little more. You're going to be in high school in a few years. Like we need to buff you up a little bit. So we're going to throw you in the weight room to see what happens.
Okay. So throw you in the weight room and see what happens. What does that mean? That's like cooking. That's like boiling an egg.
Okay. Well, okay. Like he of course, like he was supervising me. He made sure I wasn't getting myself hurt, but he just like wanted to see like if I could throw some weight around. Cause my dad, he's a big dude. He's got a couple records over at Florida State weightlifting wise. So he's like, he understands what he's doing. But of course, he just kind of wanted to throw me in the fire and see how I reacted.
So your dad was a big lifter.
Yes, big time.
Did you inherit your love? Like, do you love the weight room? You think like your dad did?
Yes.
Really?
Oh, weight room's awesome. I think the winter at Ohio State, that was one of my favorite times where we're just lifting 24/7.
Okay, that's interesting because I knew you were a big weight room guy, and you had 2 other roommates that were like big weight room guys too that love to train and be a part of it. I didn't realize you had that with your dad. My dad got me lifting a little bit, kind of just opened it up for me. Mm-hmm. I always tell people, your body will tell you when it's right. For boys, I'm like late 7th, 8th grade is kind of on the early end. Freshman is for sure like spring of my 7th grade year, because that's when I noticed like, hey, chicks dig dudes with muscles. Mm-hmm. I'm like, maybe I could be one of those dudes with muscles.
Absolutely.
Like, let's see what we can do. Start working on some of that. And I'm like, wait a second, I'm actually like a better player when I'm a little bit stronger. And like start to do all the math and put it together, Steele.
Yeah, I remember one of the girls in my 6th grade class, she asked if I had veins on my forearms. I was like, of course, yeah, I got tons of them. So next day I go over to my dad and say, hey, like I need to go lift a little bit. I didn't tell him why, but he got me lifting. I got a nice pump in. I came in, pulled my shirt up, and I showed her some veins. I was like, oh, that's awesome. Now, it didn't lead anywhere, but like, it was like we were in 6th grade. All we were doing was hugging back then, but I mean, I got a little something to show for it.
I love it, dude. But the multi-sport stuff I think is really good. And you see a lot of these guys now, they hammer it on a repetition. And, especially with travel sports, because like you play one sport and you play it year round. And so like, hey, are you going to lift? Are you going to develop the other parts of your body? Because number one, like Steele, when you just play one sport, like if you're just throwing a baseball all day, that's all you're doing. Like it's a very, I don't even want to say unilateral, but like single-sided motion where it's always like your leading with your non-dominant, throwing with your like right shoulder or left shoulder, whatever it is, your dominant hand, swinging, all that stuff's all done the same. Same thing with basketball, you're just pounding up and down on a hardwood, like never really doing fully opened up sprints. Like there's just different benefits to every sport of doing some of that stuff. And it just helps the injury reduction, number one. But I think you're just generally a better player. Like, did you feel like playing baseball made you a better football player?
Absolutely. I think there was things as far as like God, where to even start? Definitely for the shoulders, being a football player, shoulders are always going to be something that you're worried about getting hurt. And with throwing a baseball throughout the baseball season, just kind of always having the shoulders loosen up with different kind of workouts, that's certainly one thing. And then hand-eye coordination, that's huge. Being able to hit a ball in general is one of the hardest things in sports. And then being an outfielder, tracking a ball, being able to like see how it comes off the bat, different reads and stuff. All that translates to a bunch of different sports. Like in football, if you're a wide receiver and you got a quarterback chucking it down the field, you want to track it. If you're an outfielder, that's just a lot easier to kind of adapt to. And it's just, I love baseball. I'm a big advocate for it. I think that's one sport that everyone should at least try to play. And it translates to, I think, almost every other sport.
Did you ever return kicks when you were playing running back or punts?
I returned punts my freshman year in high school.
Really? Because that's like the hardest thing to do. And I feel like playing baseball would help you dramatically with being able to find the ball, pick it up, like, and track the angles of it coming down. Because people don't realize, they get mad when people muff a punt. And listen, especially when you're in college or the NFL, like you're getting paid to do that and you should be good at it. But it's one of the hardest things you always see the stuff at training camp, like on Hard Knocks, and they come and film. It's like, hey, they pull like a coach out, like, hey, we're done with practice if such and such can catch a punt. And they have one of the punters bang that thing like 150 feet in the air, seems like, and the thing's coming down and like it's moving on you. We had a dude in Detroit still that could do a knuckle punt, and it would go up and like it would not move. And so it's like a knuckleball. That thing would jump on you in the air, and guys like would fall down trying to catch it.
Mm-hmm. It's hard to catch those things, and like not every single ball is a knuckleball, but sometimes you'll get like a little gust of wind and you have no idea where it's going, and either you catch it or you muff it and you look like an absolute dork. So that's another hard thing to do. And for me, I just relate it to baseball. It's you got to pop up, you got to catch it. So I just try to get as close as I could to right under it and hopefully just put my arms together, catch it. Don't look like a ridiculous thing.
Yeah, you don't want to look ridiculous out there. I get that 100%. All right, we got some huge news here, and we'll probably talk a little bit more about this tomorrow, but I want to make sure we touch on it in our headlines today. The mouth of the South. Do you know who that is, Steele?
Said the what?
The mouth of the South.
I don't know what.
All right. Well, I'm going to give you a little education on that. I'm going to educate you here in a minute. We'll get you done with that. And some news might be happening with scheduling that I don't like, and I hope this isn't a trend. Listen, Backer, BCKR, elite Buckeye gear, elite fan gear. You want to check it out, bckr.com. They're founded to make the best quality fan gear, the high quality stuff for use for skiing, fishing, golf, hunting. Listen, it feels good. It looks good. They slap your logo on there. And if you're a Buckeye, boom, it looks great. You can get it for anyone, though. And they've got many more teams they're continuing to bring online. Use promo code all caps BOBBY at checkout, and that's going to get you an extra 10% off. Again, that's Backer, bckr.com. Some scheduling news. Rumors from the mouth of the South. Find out what that is. Steele will learn who that is next.
Every winning play starts somewhere. For you, it could be with us. At Smart Choice Bass, we bring the showroom to you with no pressure and no long sale pitches. Just real options that fit your home and budget. This is your opportunity to have the bathroom of your dreams. Right now, you can get $12.50 off your bathroom remodel with a free luxury upgrade and peace of mind with a 24-month money-back guarantee. Call 844-GET-SMART or visit smartchoicebass.com today.
All right, welcome back in to the Bobby Carpenter Show, and we've got our headlines brought to you by our friends over at Smart Choice. So Columbus, listen up, Smart Choice Bass. They've already arrived in our city, and they're kicking things off with a massive win to celebrate the new division. They have partnered with me in Big Play to give away a complete bathroom remodel valued up to $10,000. We're talking a brand new shower tub installed for free. No purchase necessary. Just go to smartchoicebass.com or scan the QR code right there on the screen to enter smartchoicebass.com. Get on this prize before the period ends, and don't let your bathroom sit on the bench any longer. Boom. There you go. We'll figure that out. But mouth of the South. There's a guy by the name of Paul Feinbaum. Still, you've ever heard of him?
Oh, it's Paul Feinbaum? That's the mouth of the South?
So he's the mouth of the South.
Oh, okay.
Pat apparently has a hard time opening this. Did you get kicked out of the Google Doc, Pat? Is that what happened? Have to figure that out. But he is reporting Ohio State Steel. I don't know if you know the scheduling of what it looks like here in the future, but Ohio State plays Bama, I believe, in
2027.
27, 28, and then I think they play Georgia in like 28, 29, or 29, 30, like back to back. Or maybe they have Georgia like 2 years off after Bama. They play Georgia. They had a nice scheduling run there. Over 8 years, they played Texas, Bama, and Georgia in home and homes.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that's a win for college football. Everybody wants to see that. Well, apparently, Paul Feinbaum has leaked out that Bama is potentially looking to cancel. He does not think those games are going to be played in 27 and 28 still, which that to me is a travesty. Given the he said because Bama's on some shaky ground, shaky situation with the Boar, and obviously playing Ohio State, like that's not exactly a cupcake or a walkover.
I mean, I see this as a possible, just like a chain reaction that could lead to a nuclear fusion, because if this game isn't played, there's going to be a bunch of other schools who kind of follow suit and maybe cancel some of their bigger out of conference games, because maybe if you lose this, it's almost like it looks like a negative towards you at the end of the year whenever you're trying to make the playoffs, when in reality it should be somewhat of a positive if you can keep it close, because we're sticking our necks out there. We're playing one of these highly ranked teams, and we might lose, but at least like we're going out there and playing these big time games. So I hope this isn't true, because it would be a travesty. I would love to go to one of those games in either Tuscaloosa or Columbus, but I hope the mouth of the South is lying right here.
Exactly. Well, I mean, he's hearing this, and does it happen? Well, I don't know. I'm gonna have to dig in this on the Ohio State side, and I'm sure like they'll have to pay an exit fee to get out of it, should that be the case. But I was worried about this with the playoff and the 12 team. And then when you lose those games, like how much is that held against you? That's the problem.
Mhm.
And you should get credit for playing those.
Yeah.
And if you're a team that schedules nobody in the non-con, you like just because you're undefeated, that shouldn't mean that you're getting the bye in the number 1 overall seed or like a top 3 or 4 seed. Like, give me some teams to go play some tough non-conference schedules. Like, that's what I want to see. And I'm with you, Steele. And this is going to be a bigger conversation throughout the week, because there's a lot of people that will be able to weigh in on this in a pretty intelligent way. But the chain reaction of this, these are 2 of the most iconic brands in college football. I mean, they're on a very, very short list, and they were going to play. And I don't believe they've played in the regular season in a hell of a long time. I think it's going all the way back to the 80s, if I'm not mistaken, when Earl Bruce was coaching here. And if they cancel that, man, that'll be – I think everybody else will look around and say, well, they're not playing it. Ohio State and Bama are. Like, well, why should we play these games? You just saw Indiana drop Virginia, and like there's teams. NC State, I think, was dropping South Carolina. And there's a lot. It's a bigger conversation, man, because we only got a couple minutes here. But it's befuddling to me that now we've created this system. Like, you are what you emphasize. Urban Meyer used to say that all the time. I think that there's a lot of truth into that. And you have to make sure there's alignment on the incentives of what you want and what you're incentivizing.
Mhm.
This goes to work, it goes to team, it goes to everything. And if you're not going to incentivize people to play these hard games, well, heck, Steele, I think that they're probably going to start dipping on out of them.
Yeah, I mean, then next thing you know, you're just going to see a bunch of in-conference games, out-of-conference cupcake schedules. And I think Signetti brought it up on some kind of podcast where he said, like, why do we even want to play these big games if they're just going to penalize us? So maybe we need a little bit of help from the committee saying, hey, we're going to like push more towards teams that are going out there and playing these out-of-conference games and are trying to like up their resume a little bit, because if we do that, if we give them the credit for it, then you're going to see more teams doing it. But if you don't give them the credit for it, the next thing you know, we're going to have like a season where teams aren't going and playing these big time games. And next thing you know, we see Ohio State playing Tulane, or not. Yeah, I guess like Tulane and a bunch of other schools that are just going to hurt the tickets and just a bunch of other stuff. But
just the general excitement for the program, man. Like, you come into the offseason and you're playing. I mean, they have Akron on there this year. Ball State, like, okay, that's fine. But you have Texas in the middle. Like, that's the meat of the sandwich.
Yeah.
And Texas even talked about, are they going to continue to schedule these things? And they talked about, because they scheduled Ohio State and Michigan. I think maybe they have Michigan coming up. And like, we scheduled those when we were in the Big 12. And maybe like at some point they were playing 8 conference games. That's the problem with the SEC. They're going to 9 now. And they don't like that. And you lose those games because you got to play one more. It's tougher for you as a conference.
Yeah.
And it's not good for fans. Go ahead.
Yeah, and the scariest part is the reasoning that he said. It's the fact that the DeBoer situation is shaky, so they don't want him to have one of these games where he can lose. Like, they want him to go out there and have a winning season without playing these better teams, and that's just kind of running away from competition. And if I'm a player and I see my coach is in jeopardy of losing his job, so let's just schedule a bunch of cupcake games, I don't want to go and play for that team. That seems just too soft.
I love it. Too soft. My man, Steel Chambers, spitting some truth. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We got some tailgate talk. We'll answer your questions, comments. Throw them in the chat. You got stuff about the Super Bowl, stuff about the offseason, whatever it is. Toss it in there. Maybe you need to want to ask what product Steel uses on his hair. It's all there. It's all in play. We'll get to that here coming up next on the Bobby Carpenter Show. I'm Garage Beer, and this is Bobby Carpenter.
Garage beer. Beer flavored beer.
Beef with an F? Okay, my bad. It's crisp and cool, and it doesn't taste like I'm Bobby Carpenter. I drink in garages because my wife says I don't belong inside. If you like a cold breeze on your bag, drink garage beer. It's American, and so can you. Garage beer. Beer flavored beer. All right, here we go. As we finished up, here's a nice little comment from Heidelberg Dog. I was in the military when my son was born, and I was lucky I got to work nights so I could spend the daytime with him. As my wife worked, she had the nights while I worked, not including deployments. And I think that's great that it was able to work out there. But he also still said not including deployments. So I do when they tell you where to go, it's not really an option, and you just have to be away sometimes. I think we've kind of we've lost that sense of responsibility in society a little bit.
Yeah, man. And again, perspective is everything. Whenever you think that you're not at home as much as you want to be, there are guys that are being deployed and they're in a different country while you're at least in the same state, the same vicinity as your child. So perspective is everything, man. You got to just, I don't know. I hate that for him.
And it's tough, man. It's tough. Listen, life is hard, Steel.
Yeah.
That's why your name is Steel, so you can be strong. Remember that.
Yeah.
This is from Jam OSU about the games being dropped. The SEC doesn't want to get exposed. How much do you think of that is true? Because we've seen this kind of, it seemed like it was just a little bit of a one-off. And now all of a sudden the Big Ten's won 3 in the row. The SEC hasn't played for any of them. Their record in the postseason really hasn't been that good.
Mm-hmm.
And are they worried about it just getting, even worse and maybe some of those big non-con situations?
Possibly. I mean, to see your Southern darling go out there and possibly lose 2 straight to Ohio State, that would, especially with as much pride as Southerners have, that would be a huge hit on their character. So maybe they are hiding a little bit, but I'd like to think that the SEC, instead of just running away, they want to go out there and prove that they're one of the best conferences again. So go out and play this game and prove it.
Yeah, I'm with you. Buckeyes. All right. Well, you know what we're going to do? We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back. We're going to get some of the parting shots, the side nuggets, the daily wisdom for me. Is it a Journal Tuesday? Are we got the journal back in the saddle?
Journal
Here we go. We didn't get it yesterday, folks, but stay locked in here. Steele's going to give you some nuggets from his journal coming up next.
Every winning play starts somewhere. For you, it could be with us. At Smart Choice Bass, we bring the showroom to you with no pressure and no long sale pitches. Just real options that fit your home and budget. This is your opportunity to have the bathroom of your dreams. Right now, you can get $12.50 off your bathroom remodel with a free luxury upgrade and peace of mind with a 24-month money-back guarantee. Call 844-GET-SMART or visit smartchoicebass.com today.
All right, welcome back into the program as we wrap up the show here. We got a couple minutes for our guy Steel Chambers to drop the knowledge bombs on you. Here it goes.
Yep. This is coming straight from the journal. This is from a book called The Comfort Crisis, and it's the idea of rediscovering boredom. And in this day and age, they're always on their phone, whether that's to escape what they're going through in their everyday life or just because they're bored and they just want to have something to do. But what that actually does, it kind of destroys your mind a tad bit. You're always kind of in this kind of lulled state where you're not really thinking, you're not being creative because you've escaped the idea of boredom, which is actually really good at getting those creative juices flowing. And back in the 80s, the Japanese had this thing called forest bathing, where they just go out in the forest, they'd walk around for a bunch, away from technology, away from everyday just devices, and they would just kind of be alone with their minds. And that's where the creative juices flow. And you can see with the way Japan's structured, that's led to a bunch of like crazy designs and crazy, I guess, innovations, because they have discovered boredom and all the good things that come with it. So my little nugget of the day is stay away from technology a little bit, as hard as it is, and just rediscover that boredom and discover that creativity that comes with that boredom.
I like it. I tell my kids that all the time, man. Be bored. You know why? Because then you get curious, you get creative, you get to solve some problems, man. It's always fun. Well, that's great, Steele. We appreciate the nuggets. We appreciate the knowledge. Getting the boredom out there, getting the folks. So listen, just get some time with nature. Just walk around and just absorb it. We don't have to just sit here and live in our machines all day long to just feed us the information. Drives me nuts. I saw my son this morning when I woke up. It's 5:30. He's getting ready to go out the door to go to practice. I'm like, buddy, put your phone down and just think about the day. Think about the day. We don't have to be we don't have to be stimulated, Steele, at 5:40, 5:30.
Exactly. That's overstimulating at that point.
Yes. We don't need that. All right. What we do need to do, we're going to take a break. We'll be back tomorrow. Our guy, Aaron James Hawk, he should be back from the Super Bowl. Hopefully he'll be joining us tomorrow on the Bobby Carpenter Show.